Episode 31, You Are the Crazy One. My glass of alcohol, which was heading towards my mouth, stopped in midair. Want me to be your water? No way. What do you mean? I'm asking you to be mine. I didn't expect the cutting board to come out like this. He was publicly known to support his brother. But you're abandoning your brother and choosing me? It was truly the most unexpected moment since I met Hyolki and Doma. This Confucius. Yes. Do you want to become the heavenly demon? I want to be. I answered without hesitation. Then drink that drink. I will be your back. You support your brother, right? That was my choice when I didn't know you were such a crazy person. I've become a useful person, I've become a crazy person, I'm busy. You are the crazy one. I killed his younger brother, ruined his student, and imprisoned his subordinate. However, this old man is offering to be my ally. This old man is a man who will sell anything for his own ambitions. I killed your younger brother. If you leave your parents' arms, you are a stranger. Do you feel the pain of your intestines being cut when a relative dies? Tell them not to laugh. As a human being, the thorns under your fingernails hurt more. Everything this old man says now is sincere. Anyway, we haven't officially joined hands with the Archduke. Even if we do, our minds can change as much as we want. If you win the Elder, it will be like winning 1,000 soldiers and 10,000 horses. But? What are you hesitating about? I don't know if I can trust you. You could abandon me just like you're abandoning your brother. If it's time to throw it away, you should throw it away. Do you think it's me who would do this because you trust me? Until now, I've never trusted anyone. Then why did you choose me? I thought I could bet my fate on the madness of you pushing forward so fearlessly. In the end, it means that I chose him because he was crazy. It's going to eat everything up with that madness. If I were a young man at this age, I might have completely believed Hyolki Doma's words out of the pride of being chosen. But I know well the despicable tricks that old people use to take advantage of young people. Do you want to become the heavenly demon? The question asked earlier is similar. These words make you think that if you hold his hand, you can become a heavenly demon. The question I am asking now has the same intention. If you become the heavenly demon, what kind of heavenly demon would you be? At least in the church that I rule, the Mason will not be able to put external pressure on the nether states. Ha ha ha. As expected, my eyes were accurate. That snarky attitude of never showing it even when he's in a bad mood. It's all the old man's old tricks to mislead me about my decision at this moment. For now, I politely declined. In the push and pull of human relationships, if you are pulled by the pull, you become unattractive prey. I am grateful that you think so highly of me, but now I feel like it is time to do my job. What would your father think? I entrusted you with an important responsibility, but wouldn't you say that you don't do any work and just do politics? I hide with the leader. Is this really a wise choice? What does it mean? Netherfoot? What happens if you do it well? What if the cult leader continues to keep you in the position of a corner of the nether regions? Do you plan to rot in the nether regions for the rest of your life? Right now it's just a process. There is always only one path for you to choose. It's one of the crossroads of whether to become a successor or not. The moment you get confused about it, you will get lost and wander into the fake forest called Hwangkyongak. He concluded his persuasion by involving his father. Rather, the religious leader will pay attention to the sight of me holding hands. Just the fact that I chose you will make you bigger and everyone will notice. However, there is one thing that Hyolki Doma overlooks. This is the will to maintain the discipline of our school. Not only is there my will, but the father's will is also present here. Give me time to think. I will drink this drink when I make a decision. I put down the glass of wine I was holding. Despite delaying the decision, Hyolki Doma smiled with satisfaction. Yes. Of course it should be. You shouldn't drink just because you're told to drink like a fool. Hyolki Doma got up from his seat and pulled out the immortal blade that was stuck behind him. He pulled the sword out of the ground and swung it at me with the same force. Instead of dodging, I pulled out the black magic sword and blocked the incoming attack. Kang! An explosion mixed with the sound of metal erupted. Beyond the crossed swords and swords, Hyolki Doma spoke. I'll hear the answer tomorrow. I'll tell you in 5 days. The tense fight where they were glaring at each other was short-lived. See you in 3 days. Without waiting for an answer, the Hyalkian Doma soared into the sky and disappeared over the fence. It was a quick and great new method without any unnecessary details. After putting the dark magic sword into the scabbard, he turned his wrist. Damn, old man, I'm dying from pain. It wasn't my best attack, but my wrist was throbbing because the power contained in the sword that flew in was unusual. This old man. I secretly enjoy causing pain to others. It's about letting people know that their martial arts skills are superior. You might think it's just an old man's pride or bad taste, but I think there is a clear intention behind Hyalkian Doma's actions. The blood-chopping board pricks the side and leaves a bloody bruise or, like today, makes the arm tingle and cause pain that will last for several days. This pain instills unconscious fear in the other person. And this physical violence plays a very positive role in manipulating the other person to one's will. The more I go through it, the more I feel that I am not an easy old man. At the same time, I also wonder why my father makes me dance with swords. There was not one, but 8 beings like Hyalkian Doma. If they were all united under the name Parmesan, it would not be easy for even their father to deal with them. Although they gossip, and fight among themselves, they are of one mind when dealing with Kion Magian. Moreover, they are the main force of our school. If you get rid of it just because you don't like it, the Murim Alliance or the Sado Alliance will attack right away. You like it because I'm crazy? That's what I say when I don't know how far I can go. Before entering the residence, I stopped by Ian's personal training center for a moment. Ian was so focused on training that he didn't even know I was there, and like I said, he was doing basic physical training. Even though he was panting as if he was going to run out of breath, Ian held back and devoted himself to training. Why you? Because if it's my order, you'll become a foolish Gomtaring. You're not really a foolish person, but you're willing to become this kind of person for me. After watching her practice for a while, I returned to my room. I brought some drinks and sat by the window to relax. When I think about fire weapons, I can't even rest for a moment, but that doesn't mean I can only look forward and run forward. If you lose the time to look around, you will definitely miss something. I drank a few glasses of alcohol for the first time in a long time, enjoying the bright moon as a snack. I thought about my father, I thought about Hyalkian Doma, and I thought about other Masons. I also thought about my life after killing Hwamugi. Even the next day, Yang Tai did not lose his spirit. Joy! Nether footnote, you touched the wrong person. Don't you know that touching me is like touching the entire Nando sect? After making threats like this with the Hyalkian chopping block in front of him. If you just let me go, I'll pretend it never happened. I will personally tell you about Majin's anger so that no harm will come to you. He also tried to appease him like this. He had never experienced such a desperate situation in his life. Looking at the records, it was a life of success from starting as a demon to becoming a demon of 10 demons and becoming a demon of 100 demons. He had never suffered, and no one had ever argued about his life. So he didn't know how to act in this situation. Instead of sincerely apologizing and asking for forgiveness, they only used cajoling and threats in the same way they had lived in the world until now. Unlike yesterday, I treated Yang calmly. Yang Muin. Please sit down. Today, the Namdo Order officially announced that it regrets this incident. Then Yang Tai was overjoyed. I told you so. Mason will never abandon me. Now, release me. Yang Tai's expression became gentle at the thought that he would soon be released. Let's forget everything about the past. I calmly asked his attitude as if he would forgive me. Why do you think I am treating you so politely now? Isn't that what you want to end on a good note? No. Because it's the last time I see you. Is that what you mean? After I leave, we won't see each other again. Yang Tai's face was full of joy. Now is the time to find the true expression that face should make. I think you're mistaken. Mistaken? The Nanda sect did not express regret to us, but to you. I feel sorry for you for tarnishing the reputation of the Namdo Order. What? And I officially apologized for causing this unpleasant incident. I also apologized to the victims and promised compensation. I also said I would make sure something like this never happens again. What bullshit? Until now, Nandajong has never officially apologized for something like this. No matter what incident happens. Yang Tai's voice was trembling. It would be an honor. By changing the Namdo Order. Don't lie. Well then, I hope you have a pleasant life in prison. I got up from my seat. Later, Yang Tai started yelling and making a fuss. I told him to just leave it alone. Because today was the last day of that damn thing. Instead, he must take responsibility for his actions, for which he never showed any sincere reflection until the very end. I gave instructions to Seo Dae-ryong, who was waiting outside the door. Contact the jail and send them to the most difficult place. Yes. Our school's prison is hell even if you go to a comfortable area. It is not just a saying that it is better to be beheaded than to go to prison. With that personality, he wouldn't be able to survive in prison. The same goes for my son. I didn't pity them. If I hadn't intervened, they would have lived their whole lives complaining, and the victim, Kwoksu's family, would have lived a miserable life. There must have been Kwaksu that I don't know about before, and other Kwaksus will continue to appear in the future. Investigator Jongwo, who was threatened, would also have his future life completely ruined. So I have no sympathy or regret whatsoever. What happened? What? Why did the Namdo order issue an apology statement? This is unprecedented. Go and ask. Why did you do that? If I could, I would. If you go to Namdajong in the current climate, you probably won't be able to walk. No. Now, I will be able to walk safely out of the Namdo Order dance hall. I added as I walked down the hallway with great strides, leaving Seo Dae-ryong saying he didn't know why. Until the next 2 days. 30-second snacks are needed. The next day, a branch of Hwangkyongak was opened in Magashon. The location was set up across from Punggrew Bar. It was a really small branch, so only one new investigator and one executive officer were assigned there. Jo Chun Bae, the owner of Punggrew Bar, who was watching the necessary furniture being put in and the signboard being put up, looked at me and asked carefully, "Mr. Lord, why is the branch located here? Let's say you were treated unfairly by our school's warriors. What have you done so far? How can you do it?" Jo Chun Bae's question contained everything. How can I do it? I just felt unfair. If it's something involving our school's warriors, you can come to Hwangkyongak and report it. Has anyone around you ever experienced that? No, as far as I know, none. There is no choice but to be there. In order to come to Hwangkyongak, you must go to the main gate of the school and report the purpose of your visit and go through not only identity verification but also a body search. I even had to go through that process several times to get to Hwangkyon Pavilion. So who will go and report it? In the end, Hwangkyongak was virtually abandoned by the residents of Mega Village. The owner, please tell me some rumors. If Magashon residents are harmed by our school's warriors, they can come to this branch and report it. But everyone will hesitate for fear of retaliation. I guess so. So we will announce it soon. If you retaliate against the accuser in connection with the Hwangkyongak investigation, you will be beheaded. A real sentence? Oh, you are really opening a branch for us. Jo Chun Bae was greatly moved. Originally, he would not have believed it was a formality. I thought that if I did that, I would eventually become famous. But this time, Jo Chun Bae was excited because he had seen and heard firsthand how I dealt with Yang Tai, the Beak Dogwi, and his father. Hey guys, come here and listen. He began to inform people in the area about the existence of the branch. It was unknown how many people would confess their injustice in the future. However, no matter what the number is, this attempt will play a big role in establishing the discipline of our school. Now that it is easy to report, the number of cases of recklessly harassing the weak will decrease. Seo Dae-ryong seemed to be in a good mood upon returning after finishing organizing the branch. You should have done this a long time ago. You did a great job. It's a question of where to place the center of gravity. What does it mean? Until now, Hwangkyongak's center of gravity was at its head. I solved problems in various organizations on campus by paying attention to Parmesan. It deviated from its original purpose and degenerated into a handmaiden of power. From now on, I will place the center of the Nether Pavilion on the bridge. It begins with protecting the residents of Mega Village, the lower-class warriors, who are relatively weak and are being unfairly treated. You just have to remember one principle in this process. What is that? The weight of life is the same. Even on a low-level uninhabited island called Mason, the weight of life is the same. That's why we handle things with the same standards. Passion flashed across Seo Dae-ryong's face. If someone else had said this, I would have thought it was bullshit. It's just a pathetic idealism that ignores reality. But I trust you, Lord. Is this an insult or a compliment? Did you just curse at me? If you approach more fearfully, I will be the first person to accuse you. I chuckled as I watched the back of the guy walking away. And there was one thing I had to do to maintain the power of the Huanqian pavilion that I told him about. I summoned all the executive officers. See you, Lord. They raised their voices and greeted them. With Beak Dogui being imprisoned this time, my popularity has increased even more than when I first took office. Not only did his popularity increase, but his authority also increased. The attitude of those who secretly looked down on me because they thought I was pushed out by my older brother in the succession structure also changed. When we encountered each other while walking, we lowered our eyes first. I am grateful to all of you who have devoted yourself to our cause so far. I came to the side of the podium, gave them a hug and expressed my gratitude. The executive officers also greeted me with their arms raised in unison. Is this the first time we've gathered by ourselves without investigators? Yes. On a good day like today, you should tell good stories, but today I am going to tell you something a little uncomfortable. The executioners became nervous at my words. As you all know, there are people in our school who disobey and challenge our authority. The devil did that and the demons did that. The reason is simple. Because they think they are stronger than you. It was a story that would hurt my pride, but I didn't tell it. I have something to say to the investigator and something to say to the executioner. For these people, talking directly will be more effective than talking back. Any of Parmesan is good. Can you take my orders and arrest the 100 demon-level leaders? No one could answer confidently. This was reality. Why not? This is because they believe that their fists are stronger than the laws of this country. What should I do to change this? It's simple. Your fists need to be stronger than theirs. If you were scared, you wouldn't even dare to think about it. Everyone's expressions flashed. They must have experienced at least once that their authority did not work. I want you to become stronger than you are now. Of course, the current executive officers are also strong. However, it is not strong enough to overwhelm the elite warriors. Similar or rather slightly lower. So, starting today, we will cancel all schedules and begin special training. There were various reactions to the term special training. Some people were happy, while others were frowning. If you don't think this change is right for you, it might be a good idea to quit now. I will send you to another department, so please come forward. After hesitating for a moment, 2 people walked out. They honestly said they wanted to go to another department. I promised to assign them to the departments of their choice and sent them away. Don't pay attention. There is no need for everyone to fight in the Nether Pavilion. All we have to do is support our school in a suitable place. Are there any more? No one stepped forward. Good. I gestured to the person who was waiting in the distance. He was none other than Django, the 3 major lords of the demon army. The strongest man among the great lords of the demon army. Since the last time I killed the demon lord and avenged my friend, he had become very fond of me. He is the one who will give you special training starting today. Since a new demon lord had not yet been chosen, all demon lords were on standby. So this request was possible. Django stepped in front of them. From his large size to the scars on his face, he overwhelmed the executioners. I am Django, who is in charge of your training for the time being. Personally, I took on this task because I respect each person here. The training will be harsh. Instead, I promise one thing. Those who endure it will definitely be stronger than before. Do you understand? Yes. The executioners answered loudly. Training starts after half an hour. Let's all get ready and gather again. Dissolution. All the executioners dispersed, leaving only Django and the 2 of them. What is the atmosphere of Magoon these days? It's confusing. It will be stable only when the next demon lord is decided. I also heard many rumors about the next demon lord. Because it was such an important position, I heard that my father and Sima Ming were struggling to appoint him, and I also heard rumors that the Megans were beginning to move to appoint him. I'm sorry for asking for help at a time like this. No. Please call us anytime. Confucius, no, I will come running at any time if you give the order. Thank you. Django was about to leave and turn around when he heard a voice coming from somewhere. Now there are 2 days left. When I turned my head, I saw a hierarchy and cutting board sitting on the wall behind me. You really have nothing to do. When you reach the level of Amazon, time is in abundance. If I become the head of the cult, there will be a lot of work for the Mason to do. If you want to do that, hold my hand. Hyul Doma is putting pressure to somehow achieve his will. If your brother finds out that you're doing this, he'll be upset. You understand? Isn't it natural to want to go with the person who is better? Do you know why I hate political factions? I'm putting too much thought into this. If you just say it's good because that guy has money and it's good because that guy is stronger, then it's okay. What's the matter of agreement and morals? If you're honest, you might think you're going to be cursed. Isn't it the same for me? What? The idea is to go with the side that is better. Other Mason might want to join hands with me, right? Among them, there may be some who are better than the elders. The answer might have been difficult, but Hyul Doma responded with ease. Look at this, Confucius. Do you believe in your abilities and potential? Yes. I am confident that I will become the heavenly demon. There is. I was the first person to notice that. Doesn't the ability to understand someone's true value tell you who will do best? Even though I'm an eloquent speaker, I can't stand up to you. Ha 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 ha. See you in 2 days. The Hyul Doma burst out laughing and flew away. The old man speaks so convincingly. At first glance, this all sounds correct. But if you think about it calmly, it seems almost unreasonable. It was only recently that I began to receive attention on campus. Everyone will be paying attention to my changes. It's just that Hyul Doma got entangled with me and came forward first. It's like claiming it's yours just because you spit on it. Joining hands with Hyul Doma? It doesn't make sense. If he were truly on my side, it would definitely be of great help. But you can't join hands with him like this. Because the initiative is still held by Hyul Doma. The next day, I was watching the executioners being trained on the hill overlooking the training grounds. Django was harsh. It was truly a training that involved cutting blood and bones, but the executioners were gritting their teeth and going through the training. Django stimulated everyone with just one word before the start. This is the training our demon army does. This one word was enough. If you can't endure the demon army's training, you'll be admitting that they look down on Hwangkyongak. I thought Jang Ho was a really smart person. Because there was nothing more effective than stimulating a warrior's pride. Django's cry was heard from afar. Hold on. A wife, a child, a friend, anyone can betray. But I won't betray you with the sweat I'm shedding right now. I chuckled while listening to Django's shout. It was funny that Jang Ho, who had never been married, mentioned his wife and children. By the way, you've met the right person. That moment when a thought crossed my mind that it would be really reassuring to have a warrior like Jang Ho. Ah. A good idea occurred to me regarding the blood-chopping board. On the third day, Hyul Doma was waiting for me at the place where I first proposed holding hands. Just like back then, he was drinking while leaning on the blade with his sword stuck in the ground. Are you ready to drink my drink now? I sat across from him. I'm ready. Hyul Doma smiled broadly with a satisfied face and poured the drink. I toasted vigorously, but I didn't drink. Why don't you drink it and put it down? I need snacks. Snack? What kind of complacency is the company's leader in charge of? A disapproving look appeared on Hyul Doma's face. I realized that the snacks I was talking about were not actual snacks, but rather a certain requirement. What snacks do you need? I answered in a tense atmosphere. Markuan. Hyul Doma's eyes widened at the unexpected words. Please put the devil in my mouth. Episode 33. Is this a new self-defense weapon? If you put it in your mouth, can you digest it? Hyul Doma asked provocatively. I will chew it thoroughly and swallow it. Look at this, Confucius. There is a natural order to things in this world. Isn't it natural to eat snacks while drinking alcohol? Hyul Doma pressed his fingers between his eyebrows as if he had a headache. Then he burst out in anger and jumped up. I can't stand it anymore. I waited for you for 3 days, but you're asking me for conditions that don't even seem like words. He pulled out the annihilation blade that was stuck in the ground. I'm going to Kion Majian with that head in my hand. I love you so much. The blood heavenly blade swung the death heavenly sword. It wasn't really an intention to kill me, but it was a nervous attack filled with anger. Kang! When I struck it back with the black magic sword, a sharp metallic sound erupted. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Hyalkian-doma was impressed. It was an attack loaded with considerable power, but it seems they didn't know that it would be so easily blocked. Yes, it won't be easy to take off that precious head, right? The Blood Heaven sword swung the Death Heaven blade again. It was a faster and stronger attack than the previous attack. This time, I struck down the immortal sword that was flying vertically, tearing through the wind, with the black magic sword. Kang! A louder sound than the previous attack erupted. Although it was the Great Destroyer of Destruction, nicknamed the Weapon Destroyer, it could not damage the black magic sword. I had peace of mind. You keep fussing, should we break it? Destroyed Weapon Destroyer. Wouldn't it be great to have a rumor to decorate tomorrow morning? It was a thought that occurred to Sword as a joke, but was it because he had such feelings in mind? The desire to write Punxsutawney Sabo arose. Will the Hyalkian-doma be able to block the Myongwangbo that I unfold? This was a temptation created by my fighting spirit. When encountering a strong enemy, a martial arts skill of the highest level, such as Punxsutawney Sabo, reacts. Let's fight. So let's win. No. Not yet. Time is on my side, so there is no reason to engage in a dangerous fight with insufficient internal strength. Before the third attack came, I took a step back, pretending that my wrist was in pain. Of course, that didn't mean that my wishes were rejected. Give me the demon army. Hyalkian-doma withdrew his sword and asked. Who on earth are you asking to sit in the position of Demon Lord? Could it be you? Of course not. Then who? Please seat Django, the three major lords. Django? If Django becomes the Demon Lord, I can make the Demon Lord my friendly organization. If that happens, the school's position will become stronger than before. Not only would it be helpful to me, but it would also be of great help to our school if a warrior like Django became a Demon Lord. It is not easy for me to make Jang Ho the Demon Lord. What he said was true. If you were to select a leader from within the Demon Army, Jang Ho would be a strong candidate, but in the case of an elite organization like the Demon Army, the leader was chosen from an outside source. Kionmajon and Parmesan engage in a war of nerves, trying to get each person to sit down. Hey Confucius! If you are too greedy, your stomach will explode. Isn't the path we have to take a path in which we have to eat until our stomachs explode? It was the old man who suggested that we go crazy and eat them all. It was the old man who asked me to join hands. Is the path that crazy people take a normal path? You guys! Then isn't it? How could you join hands with me without going crazy, in case other people don't notice? Hyalkian-doma glared at me with burning eyes. I don't know where his ambitions are ultimately directed. Because he died before revealing it to the world. Surprisingly, the first one among the Parmesans to die was Hyalkian-do. This strict and cunning chopping block. Joy! It seems like I became a heavenly demon right away. Aren't you the one who cheated on me? What on earth are you trying to do with me? Are you trying to take advantage of a young man with nothing but flashy words? Like the elder disciples. As if my words hit the nail on the head, Hyalkian-doma shouted. Your greed overturned the table. Boom. In fact, after kicking and knocking over the drinking table, he flew away. As I looked at him disappearing into the distance, I smiled faintly. This is because it was the moment when Hyalkian-doma's composure was broken for the first time. He won't be able to refuse my offer. Because you probably know better than anyone that I have 7 more drinking tables besides his drinking table. I devoted myself to martial arts training at a private training center. This is something I always felt while practicing after returning, but I really liked the youthful feeling of not getting tired. This was not a matter of whether there was more or less inner strength. Even without any effort, my body felt light and energetic. The eternal truth that something is precious only when it is lost will be most powerfully applied to this youth. Yeah, I didn't know at the time. How precious time is passing by. How much I will miss this moment later. Martial arts? Money? Authority? The fact that it is youth that is sacrificed to obtain it is both funny and sad. My reality is that even if I go back, I have no choice but to keep running. Still, it's a mistake, you know. Because I know its importance better than anyone else, I practiced every step carefully and with all my might. I wandered among virtual enemies with Punxsutawney Sabo. At first there were 3 or 4 enemies, but as training continued, the number of enemies increased. 5 became 7 and 7 became 10. At first the enemies were just standing there like scarecrows, but now my imaginary enemies moved, talked, and even swore at me. As they continued to train, their martial arts level also increased. The level of my training was determined by my martial imagination. If I devoted 70% of my training to Punction Sabo, I spent the rest of my time practicing ki training and the heavenly demon defense technique that my father taught me. After a bout of training, I lay down on the floor of the training center and caught my breath. Even though I sweated so much that my whole body was wet, there is no better feeling than this moment after finishing training. I could see red sunset clouds passing by beyond the window. How great would it be to go on a cruise in Jungwon with this young body? The sunset I watched while looking for Dafa materials and the sunset I watched after killing Fire Mugi and becoming the best person in the world would be completely different. Before returning, I only imagined this moment of returning and endured the hardships. Now, I am holding back and looking forward to the future after killing Hwamugi. You shouldn't only think about who you are today. Tomorrow, I will die miserably at the hands of my opponent due to lack of training. Okay, let's hold on. When I got up again, my imaginary enemies also got up again. 2 days later, new news arrived. It was news that Hyul Kyondoma had recommended the 3 great lords, Django, as a candidate for Demon Lord. Even though Hyul Kyondoma got so annoyed and disappeared, he eventually accepted my wishes. In the first place, it was a drinking table that he couldn't overturn. The person who was most surprised by this news was Jang Ho, the person involved. What happened? Just by coming to see me and asking questions, I can tell that he is an intelligent and perceptive person. If I were an ordinary person, I would have thought this was a sudden stroke of luck. However, Jang Ho was a person who realized that there is no such luck in this world. This is what Gongya Li did, right? That's right. I asked Hyul Kyondoma for a favor. I am grateful that you treat me so highly, but it is not a position I can handle. There is no need to be humble. This is the place that the demon lord who died to me also occupied. That's a different case. I will lead like a 3rd generation. Then, I am sure that you will become the best demon lord among all demon lords of all time. In particular, he was the one with the strongest martial arts skills among the great lords. We also received active support from the 3 great martial artists. If they were selected from within, they were well qualified. You are overestimating me. You may be underestimating yourself. Anyway, other candidates are also being mentioned, so let's wait and see. Django was embarrassed and happy at the same time. What are the dreams of the demonic lords? Well, we've done everything we had to do, so let's leave the result to heaven's will. To Jang Ho, I told him that it is true and great, but the indifferent sky will surely respond. I have to work diligently and make things happen. That night I went to see my father. My father had a separate lodging in Gyeongmajian, and I think it was probably the largest and most luxurious lodging in the world. And now, at the unfamiliar sight of my father standing before me, I blinked as if I had seen something in vain. Is this the new self-defense armor? No, it's my pajamas. It's a flower pattern pajamas. It's not a devil or an evil spirit. Because it's a caution that you should sleep comfortably. It was my first time seeing my father in pajamas. The bright flower pattern pajamas were shocking, but it was even more surprising that they showed it like this. You could have changed into different clothes after telling me to wait. What's going on at night? You mean late at night? It's early evening. I didn't know you went to bed this early. Isn't this top secret? If the Murim Alliance finds out, they will attack right away. They say the heavenly demon sleeps early, so let's make a surprise attack in the middle of the night. Just business. Yes. After shaking off the jokes, I revealed the reason why I came today. I plan to use the Hyul Kyan cutting board as my knife. When did you say you were going to kill me? Because it would be a waste to kill him. This may not be news to your father. When Hyul Kyondoma recommended Jang Ho, you must have already noticed that Hyul Kyondoma and I joined hands. Not only my father, but anyone interested in school politics can guess. Everyone is paying attention. How will my relationship with Hyul Kyondoma progress? How will my brother react later and how will the other Megans move? My father changed the topic. How about a new sword? I like it. Let me see. I gave the black magic sword to my father with its sheath. My father slowly pulled out the black magic sword and then nodded in satisfaction. I got on the right track. Do you know just by holding it? You'll know when you catch them, but you'll know after you're stabbed, right? My father said, handing back the dark magic sword. Hyul-Kyun-doma will not be tamed this easily. I have no intention of taming it. I will use it until it breaks. It's still not worth collecting. And what if you get cut? Then you have to cut it. Instead, there will be a difference between it and the Hyul-Kyun-doma. If an old blood-chopping board breaks once, it's over, but the more I cut, the stronger I will become. I will apply the medicine, apply a bandage, and move on. It's easy. But why are you reporting to me? Now I am receiving a bonus from my father, so of course I have to report it. My father's eyes narrowed. You didn't come here to ask for a recommendation from Hyul-Kyun-doma. He is indeed a quick-witted person, but he was wrong this time. No, it's the opposite. Never allow Hyul-Kyun-doma to do as he wishes. Don't give me permission? The reason is, at this point, I'm going to break the spirit of Hyul-Kyun-doma. How powerful he was in front of me. Sometimes, he acts better than his father. I intend to break that spirit. Stop talking nonsense. Tell me what you really think. Why do you think I don't mean it? This is your chance to obtain a demon army, but are you giving up the demon army just because you can break the spirit of the blood heavenly demon? Aren't you that kind of kid? He is also a keen father. Yes, you enjoyed it. What are you aiming for? It's because I have something to gain from Hyul-Kyun-doma. For that to happen, this incident must not go as Hyul-Kyun-doma wants. Is it more important than the demon army? In some ways. Oh, and I will also make Demon Lord mine. I will make it all mine. My father, who had been staring at me, turned around. Stop laughing and go. Those were the words, but I could feel it. I hope my father will listen to my request. I smiled as I looked at the flower in full bloom on my father's back. Father, at least there won't be anything funnier than those pajamas tonight. In the 34th episode, rather than dealing with a single tiger, a blood-geon sword entered the battle of heaven. He walked slowly along the bloody path and stopped at the edge of the carpet. How are you? Hyul-Kyun-doma politely greeted Jeom Woo-jin. Thanks to you, I had a good time. How was it for you? Thanks to you, I've been a little busy these days. Jeom Woo-jin smiled slightly. The kid has a big head, so I can't do what I want. Ha ha ha. Has there ever been something you couldn't do? Isn't it true that children are beings arranged by heaven to show us that life does not go as we wish? You should find out when you have children. My child might be growing up somewhere. Jeom Woo-jin laughed. He was softer and friendlier than when he was playing sword dance. If you had seen the sword dance, you would definitely have said, smile brightly at your child like this. After briefly exchanging greetings, Hyul-Kyun-doma hinted at sword dance. It may not work out the way the leader wants, but these days, this Confucius is standing out on campus. Isn't this your work? In fact, it's safe to say that's the case, because sword dance became popular after being intertwined with Hyul-Kyun-doma. This Confucius is the work of the religious leader. It was only this time that I realized it was such a wonderful piece of work. Jeom Woo-jin did not deny it. Because believing that one exists behind one's son's activities is not a bad thing in any sense. You're still immature. I sometimes think back to when I was Confucius' age. If this Confucius becomes immature now, I will have to call him a scoundrel. You overestimate immaturity. It's an overestimation. The leader did it first. This was something he said about entrusting the Hwangkyong-gakju to Jeom-juk. Whatever the reason, it was an unconventional greeting. That's why I'm telling you, I want to make this Confucius a better work. If you come forward, it could be said to be a blessing in disguise for the second guy. That is an overstatement. Just figure it out. Thank you. At the end of the story, the purpose of Hyul-Kyun-doma's visit was carefully revealed. Would you please properly push for what has already been allowed? What does it mean? Please let me proceed with this Demon Lord's matter as I wish. It was a request to make Django the Demon Lord as recommended. There was silence for a moment. The two looked at each other without any emotional ups and downs. The first person to break the silence was Jeom Woo-jin. The Demon Lord matter is difficult. This matter is also what this Confucius wants. As you said, the second child has been pushed far enough. You have to think first. There is one thing I felt while raising my students. When you push someone, you have to make sure to push just one person. I'm getting a lot of criticism because I can't do that. I'll be fine. Unlike you who are generous, I kill anyone who insults me. The eyes of the two people were intertwined in the air. They spend years together where they can tell the other person's intentions just by looking at their eyes. The longer the time passes, the more awkward the silence of this moment becomes. Is there anything more to say? Hyul Kyondoma no longer stubbornly obeyed Kyonma's order to banish guests. This is because I know very well that I am not a person who easily changes my decision once I make it. Another method was needed. See you next time. That's right. The Hyul Kyondoma turned around and came out. His expression remained frozen as he walked down the bloody road. What kind of belated weighing is this? If you push it once, you have to push it all the way. TSK. The sect leader was thinking more about the Archduke than about you. As soon as Hyul Kyondoma saw me, he started to drive a wedge between my father and me. It seemed like you thought of the Archduke as your successor. When you have a weakness, you attack the other person first. This old man's political skills are truly disgusting. I think we had a bad meeting. What does it mean? If I fall behind my older brother, even if I were an elder, he would have to make up for what I am lacking. Does this mean I am not good enough? It means it's somewhat disappointing. Instead of getting angry, Hyul Kyondoma comforted me. Look at this Confucius. It was impossible to establish Django as the demon lord in the first place. Have you given up already? There is no need to cling to something that doesn't work. Are you so proud of yourself when you can't even achieve this? This much? Poser? He began to treat the furious Hyul Kyondoma even more. It was an old man who offered to become my mentor. You were the one who begged me to do something that couldn't be done like a child. Then you should have refused then. I shouldn't have recommended Django the next day. Didn't you do it just in case? I drew a long line under the feet of Hyul Kyondoma. You said that before. This is how the leader thinks about the elderly. I believed in this line. I drew the line again, less than halfway. Isn't this where the actual line between you and your father lies? Hyul Kyondoma could not refute. What would have happened if I hadn't gone to my father and asked him specifically? Did his father actually listen to Hyul Kyondoma's request? If my father refused, I should have asked more. If it were me, I would definitely do it. Then give it a try. Yes? Didn't you mock me for not being able to do even this much? Then you can do it easily. What would you do if I asked your father to do it for you and make it happen easily? You can try it. Maybe it will backfire. Since he rejected his own request, he seemed convinced that his son's request would never be granted. In times like these, it seems that Hyul Kyondoma knows his father well. Are you saying we want to make a bet? Bet? It's good. Let's do it. If you can't do it, then from then on, stop talking and be my water. No more snacking. What if I make it? I'll give you what you want. Whatever you want. Is there anything you want? After thinking for a while, I told him. Please get me the elixir. At least it's a better elixir than Demon Jongdan. For a moment, Hyul Kyondoma was startled. I know exactly the nature of this surprise. Are you saying that you know how difficult it is to obtain a better elixir than Demon Spirit Dan? No, it will be a condition. Now that we've decided to join the same boat, isn't my becoming stronger the same as you becoming stronger? There was a reason why I asked for an elixir from Hyul Kyondoma. Because I knew he had the elixir. He has the rare elixir Heavenly God Dan, which can give him more power than the Demon Spirit Dan. In the past, Hyul Kyondoma joined hands with his older brother and presented the Heavenly God altar. It was also revealed at that time that he had been storing the Heavenly God's goddess without taking it for a long time. The purpose of inducing betting was precisely because of this extraordinary shrine. I can't turn Jiang Hao into a demon lord, and I can't even save him an elixir. I don't know why I have to join hands with the old man. Okay, if you make Jiang Hao the demon lord, I will get you my elixir. You promise? I pulled out the dark magic sword and held it out in front of me. The blood heavenly sword struck my sword with its immortal sword. Jiang! This clear sound was our promise. This promise made in German has a much more powerful binding effect than words. As always, the blood Cheondoma leapt up and disappeared into the distance. If he wins the bet, he will keep his promise. Because the heavenly god altar was something he had prepared for his successor. As long as you can take the demonic spirit down that you took earlier and the heavenly god Dan, you will never lose in a fight with Mason due to lack of internal strength. And I knew how to win this bet. The place I visited was the office of Grand Commander Sima Ming. Tongkyongak, where he stays, serves as the head of the school. All information about Murim is gathered and classified here. Among them, very little information was passed down to his father through Sima Ming. I don't know, but I probably account for a significant portion of the information being passed down from Tongkyongak to Kyeonmajian these days. A strict security was spread from the entrance to Tongchen Pavilion to Sima Ming's office, and it was even worse than the Tianma Hall. This meant that Tongkyongak played an important role in the school, and since it was a place where intelligent soldiers gathered, it had to be protected more thoroughly. When I entered the general military office, Sima Ming was working among a pile of documents. There were so many documents piled up on the desk that they almost covered his face. It might seem like giving a few words of advice from your father's side would be enough, but in reality, the job of a general military officer is fighting with documents. He spends his days reading and rereading hundreds of letters from all over the Central Plains every day, and distinguishing between information that needs to be discarded and information that needs to be saved. Because I know this well, even if I do Hwangkian Gakyu, I cannot do Tongkian Gakyu. Sima Ming got up from his desk and greeted me warmly. What's going on? Now, please sit down here. I sat across from him at the table. Soon after, as if he had been waiting, the attendant brought tea. I don't know if it will suit you. There is only one type of car here. It smells very good. As I took a sip of tea, I looked around. As a place where the best minds of our school work, there were all kinds of books piled up everywhere. I heard that these days, when our school's warriors gather together, they all talk about Hwangkyongak. Aren't you busy swearing? It can't be. I heard it was full of praise. I know better the public opinion about Hwangkyongak. Just as there were those who were enthusiastic about the fair enforcement of the law, there were also those who opposed it. You may feel unreasonable because you have lived your life to the fullest. What if I get caught too? This must be a worry. Discipline must be established before this atmosphere expands. But what's going on? I have something to ask you, soldier. You can do it. What do you think about Django? I think he's a good drone. He is a person who will lead the demon army brilliantly. Sima Ming probably already knows that I am behind this recommendation. That I am trying to place Django in the position of Demon Lord. Then what are the chances that Jiang Hao will become Demon Lord? To be honest, it's not even enough to do the job. Even if Thomas recommended Django, the recommendation was rejected by the religious leader. That's probably why the figure of 100% work came out. The original answer was that it was impossible, but out of courtesy, it was decided to do the work. What if your father changes his mind? Then of course it is possible. But it won't be easy. As you know, the leader is not one to change a decision once made without any justification. I know that very well. It was a decision made at my request in the first place. I have no intention of asking my father to change his decision again without justification. We need to give you a reason to change your decision. This is what I prepared. How about this? What if I receive a recommendation from another Mason following the blood heaven chopping? 2 Megans recommending one person at the same time? It's unprecedented, but if that happens, there's a good chance that Django can become a demon lord. Because the religious leader also has a reason to change his mind. But is it possible? In a situation where Hyel Cheondoma stepped forward, it was not at all easy to get other Masons to come forward and recommend Django. You should give it a try. Isn't it sometimes easier to deal with 2 tigers at the same time than with 1 tiger? I think it will be more difficult. So, this prerequisite must exist. At the same time, to prevent the unfortunate event of having a limb ripped off. What if those 2 tigers are really at odds with each other? Episode 35, rather don't forget. It's unfair. I didn't do it. The person complaining of injustice in the Hwangkyongak interrogation room was Bae Jongtak, a member of the Bukchon Jeonga led by Iltwa Jeomjun. He was accused and arrested on charges of raping the young daughter of the Jeom family. In the past, this would not have been an incident, but this time, Bae Jongtak was immediately arrested the day after the complaint was made. That argument is slandering me. Please confront her. I feel wronged. Why would Sai-bai frame you? You don't know. Maybe I was instigated by someone, or maybe I made some mistake with that child. But at least I didn't rape that kid. He seemed really aggrieved. Okay, I'll confront you. Please bring me here right away. When I gave a signal, Seo Dae-ryong, who was waiting outside, came in with a girl who looked to be about 13 or 4 years old. The child was very frightened. Hey! Why are you doing this to me? Bae Jongtak shouted at the child. I raised my hand to calm his excitement. Quiet! If you scream one more time, there will be no newspapers to confront you. Yes. I do it because I feel unfair. I asked the girl. Is the person who raped you the author? The girl nodded slowly. Look at me. He nodded without even looking at my face. I know this person, do I need to look closely at their face? You can't look at me because you feel guilty. Isn't it really your doing? No, I swear to heaven no. I feel so unfair if they only believe what the child says and punish me like this. Think about it. If you miss a woman, you can go to Giru, but why would you mess with a child like that? I don't know. You tell me, do you get excited when you see a child? Didn't I say no? Bae Jongtak glared at the child fearfully. Don't you know how scary false accusation is? I will forgive you, so be honest. Say no. The child cowered as if frightened. Look at me. You're shaking, aren't you? That's because I'm scared. I heard he said he would go to my family back home and kill them if I revealed the rape. This incident was not reported by the girl. The child told another sister-in-law, and that sister-in-law went to the Hwangkyongak branch located across from the Pungrio bar instead of her friend and filed a complaint. Why do you only believe what that kid says? Because I trust that kid. Isn't that too biased? Because I'm sure you raped me. So, give me solid evidence. Don't just believe what that kid says. When I looked at Seo Dae-ryong, he went out. And then he came back in with 2 children. They were girls who were a little bigger than the ones who came in earlier. The moment Bae Jongtak saw those children, he was startled. Remember? These are children who previously worked for your husband. I know. You've grown a lot. Bae Jongtak greeted them warmly, but the children bowed their heads and did not respond. I suddenly became curious while listening to the child's testimony. I committed it this time, but haven't I committed it before? As a result of searching for and investigating the previous victims, it was discovered that they had also been raped. All testimony has already been completed. The way they raped the children was the same. The threats are the same. After playing around like that for 2 or 3 years, I replaced him with another child. Bae Jongtak's expression changed when he realized that it was no longer possible to escape. The person who complained of injustice disappeared and revealed his true nature. I made a mistake after drinking. Please just take a look. The guy's suddenly calm appearance was so different from the one he was complaining about just a moment ago that it felt like watching the performance of a gang of street performers. He spoke calmly to the children. Honestly, you guys liked it too, right? You gave me money every time I finished, right? Then the youngest brother took a coin out of his pocket and threw it on the floor. Coins pouring down. She kept it without spending a single penny and brought it today. Bae Jongtak pretended not to see me and turned his head to plead with me. I heard that in the history of Hwangkyongak, there has never been an example of someone being imprisoned for interfering with a dispute. I studied in advance. That's right. We will make sure this never happens again. I swear to heaven. If I have to write a memorandum, I write it. No, I won't let women fight at all. You won't go to jail. The children raised their heads at my words. They all had frightened faces. Thank you. Thank you. He grinned and looked at the children, who all lowered their heads to avoid eye contact. You should go somewhere else instead. Where are you? Here. Hiss. Phew. My sword decapitated him with a single blow. The guy fell backwards along with the chair, dead, without even letting out a single scream. The children were startled by the sudden situation and screamed. His blood flowed from the coin that fell on the floor. I immediately turned to the kids. The one who tormented you is now dead. Your family won't die. So from now on, just live without worrying. The children looked at me with surprised faces. I will never forget what happened to you until I die. If you can't forget it anyway, don't forget what happened today. Let this moment when this guy pays for his sins cover up what happened to you. Remember only this final end of the author. This was the best I could do for my children. The children looked at the corpse and then back at each other. After a while, the eldest child among them stepped forward and bowed his head politely. Thank you so much for your revenge. The other children also bowed their heads. Thank you, old man. Ooh. The youngest child burst into tears and the other child hugged her. Tears also flowed from the eyes of the child I was hugging. No one cares how the right and wrong are treated. I was like that in the past too. You don't have to thank me. It was thanks to your brave testimony that we were able to punish that guy. This is the punishment you brought about. So live bravely and live well in the future. Yes. And there will never be any retaliation from Lee Jae's friends or family. Hwang Kyung-gak will protect you from now on. Now even the oldest girl was in tears. Thank you. Father, if we fail to protect these children under the pretense of being strong, we will be beheaded by the political faction you hate so much. No, it has to be cut. Even if your head is cut off, you have nothing to say. Investigators came in and took the children out. They told me to pay special attention to these children in the future, so there was no need for them to worry. This will also become known around the school, so there will be fewer people who cause trouble. We need to correct the misconception that this kind of thing is natural because we are mine. Ian, who was watching the investigation process, shook his head. When I saw that guy being taken away earlier, I thought something really unfair had happened. It's really scary. Humans are scarier than ghosts. But the author belongs to the Northern Heavenly Sword House. Is it okay for Ilwa Jeomson to just stay? His subordinates continued to rape young civil servants. Are you taking issue with this because I killed someone like that? Wouldn't it be better not to? Aren't you scared, Master? I'm scared. I'm afraid I'll die without being able to clean up all this trash. Ever since you became a member of the Hwangkian province, our school has become more and more kind. What if it becomes full of people who are better than the Murim Alliance? I immediately corrected her joke. Isn't it a good thing to not be afraid of disputes? It's natural. Oh, that's right. We haven't been able to do that obvious thing until now. At that time, Seo Dae-ryong came back. Mr. Lord, why did you do that? What? You killed him intentionally, right? Isn't it your opinion that people like that should be locked in prison and made to suffer? Because our school's prison was a place more painful than death. Yes. But why did you kill me? As expected, Seo Dae-ryong is a smart guy. I deliberately handled the case related to Ilkwa Jeomson myself and, as he said, I intentionally killed him. If I kill you like this, I will have an official reason to go see Ilkwa Jeomson. Seo Dae-ryong was surprised. The issue of Hyol Kyondoma alone is a headache, so why do you want to meet Ilkwa Jeomson? Because I need a second tiger. Yes? He gave an order while looking at Seo Dae-ryong, who said he didn't understand the meaning. Send a message to Jeomson right now. During the interrogation process, a problem arose and I met in person to explain it. After an hour's visit, I took Seo Dae-ryong and headed to the Northern Heavenly Sword House. Do you really have to take me with you? It's an official visit, but can Ganju go alone? The right arm should follow. When did I become your right-hand man? He has a power-oriented and heartless personality, but he is a real man who only loves one woman. My half-hearted right arm that raises his hand when everyone else is silent is enough. Oh my God! Which expression do you like? I don't like it all. Eventually, we arrived at the entrance to the Northern Heavenly Sword House. If the Namdo branch of the Hyolkian Doma occupied the southern part of the main school, the Northern Heavenly Sword family of the Iltwa Jeomson dominated the north. This is my first time at the Northern Heavenly Sword House. Until now, there have been no cases related to the Northern Heavenly Swordsman in the cases I have handled. Unlike Hyolkian Doma, Iltwa Jeomson was managing his subordinates well. The swordsman of the Sword family also valued honor. Is it? When I reacted indifferently, Seo Dae-ryong asked. Do you think not? From what I see, it seems like a demon sword or a demon is all there. Is it okay for people who value honor to look like that? The eyes of the magic swords guarding the entrance were not pretty. It seems that Bae Jongtak's death was already known, but rather than a reaction of saying he died because he committed a crime, it was closer to a feeling of, did you kill our Bukchon sword warrior just for stirring up a dispute? Of course, they couldn't dare provoke me at a time like this, so they all immediately bowed their heads politely. Seo Dae-ryong spoke to me softly. As a pacifist, this is a look I often see these days. Whenever I'm with someone, I keep seeing them. I'll add pacifist to the description of you. Ah. A drone was waiting to guide us. Mason is waiting. I am Sir Wu Jiang. Sao Zhong was a man known as Ilwa Jiamjun's right-hand man. He was one of the top 3 powerful swordsmen within the Northern Heavenly Sword family, and his momentum was as sharp as a blade. I know this man well. It was not because of a personal relationship or friendship, but because his ending was quite impressive. Nice to meet you. Please follow me. Sao Zhong took us inside and continued on. I passed through the buildings where the demon swords lived and entered the deepest part. There was a small tea house there. This small, well-decorated place is the residence of Ilkwa Jeomsun. The Lord of the Nether has arrived. At Sao Zhong's message, the door to the house opened and a woman dressed in white walked out. Welcome, sword footnote. The woman with the soft voice was Ilkwa Sword Zone So Yunrang. Episode 36, Already Loyal. Ilkwa Jeomsun was a beautiful woman. He looked like he was in his 20s on the outside, but he was actually twice older. So, our school has a saying like this. Even though the world changes, Jeomsun does not change. She is even getting younger with each passing year. However, if you are fooled by that light and airy appearance and do something foolish, your tongue will be cut out and a cold iron sword will be driven into your heart. The red camellia flower engraved on the scabbard of her sword, Ilkwa's sword, is as intense as blood. It's been a while, old man. No matter how many times I hear the word elderly, I can't get used to it. Why don't I call you senior? She treated me respectfully. She was famous for always being respectful and polite not only to me but also to lower-ranking soldiers. That's not possible considering the distribution to the elderly. I have to respect you because you are older? I don't think so. Respect can be given to someone worthy of respect. Even if you are young, if you deserve respect, you should respect it. Great. I follow my senior's wishes. Instead, please feel free to call me Confucius. Of course. I introduced Seo Dae-ryong to him. This is the special investigator who investigated this incident. I brought you here to tell you what happened. Seo Dae-ryong politely handed Ilkwa Jeomsun his hand. This is Special Investigator Seo Dae-ryong. I will report this incident. Then Ilkwa Jeomsun raised his hand and stopped him. That's okay. If Wang Kyonggak determines that you committed a crime, you will have committed a crime. Anyone who raped a young woman deserves to die, so this prosecutor's office will not take issue with what happened during the investigation of this case. I gestured to Seo Dae-ryong to step aside. Seo Dae-ryong quietly left the prison. Ilkwa Jeomsun looked at me and smiled faintly. She realized that the reason for my visit was something else. I heard that a wind of change is blowing through our school these days thanks to the efforts of this Confucius. They are running wild. If our school can develop, what kind of nonsense would that be? Ilkwa Jeomsun was the one who was evaluated as the most unsuited to the demonic cult among the Parmesans. Just look at this shabby house and you will see it. It is elegantly decorated as if it were a place where a veteran expert of a prestigious political faction had retired. You are doing a great job. This is possible because my senior is a strong supporter. Ilkwa Jeomsun shook his head. Please don't use gold paint on this wrinkled face. This statement is clearly intended to induce this saying. What are you saying? You still look like you're in your 20s. You're in your 20s. This is absurd. A smile that couldn't be hidden appeared on her face as she waved her hand. It is enough for this person to take a step back and realize the principles of martial arts. But she lived a life different from what she said. After his father died at the hands of Wamugi and the school was imprisoned, a full-scale power struggle broke out within. Not only Parmesan but also famous masters of our school each competed for the position of leader. So who was the first religious leader? Surprisingly, the woman in front of me is none other than Ilkwa Jeomsun. It may be hard to believe, considering her gentle smile and calmness now, but she was the first to move and take the position of leader. In the process, a bloody wind blew. She was relentless. Blood and wind blew throughout his short life as a religious leader. So, it would have been nice if he had been good at politics, but Ilkwa Jeomsun's ruling power could not keep up with his greed. He caused all the tragedies that happen when an incompetent person is greedy, and he lost his life to the next religious leader before completing 3 years. Therefore, my evaluation of her cannot help but be low. To be honest, I felt very burdened when this incident occurred. Why was it burdensome? As you may have heard, there have been many conflicts with the Namdo order recently. I secretly mentioned the Namdo branch of the Hyolkian Doma. Among the Parmesans, they are known to have the worst relationship with each other. For that reason, demons and magic swords were also dogs and guardians. Elder Hyolkian Doma put a lot of pressure on me. But this time, a conflict has arisen with the sword family. I am a completely different person from Thomas. Ilkwa Jeomsun's voice rose as if he was displeased at even being mentioned along with the Hyolkian Doma. Of course it's different. I'm asking because I heard that Thomas recommended a man named Jang Ho to be the demon lord from the Namdo sect. What happened? Although she seemed to be training alone in her mother's house, she was aware of all the happenings on campus. As if to show that future gains in power are not accidental. Django is a man of outstanding ability and loyalty. What I ask is, why did Thomas want to make him the demon lord? To be honest, Django is my person. Ilkwa Jeomsun probably already knew this and wasn't surprised. This was exactly what she was curious about. How did you convince Thomas? It stimulated the old man's pride. He is a Mason in name and appearance, so shouldn't he make a choice for the sake of his religion? We should recommend people with real ability, not because of friendship or political power. Thomas is not persuaded for that reason. You're right. It's probably because they don't want to miss me. Anyway, Thomas said this. He says he is the best among the Parmesans when it comes to his heart for the church. Ilkwa Jeomsun's expression frowned, probably because he thought it was an absurd statement, but I pretended not to notice and continued talking. It seems that even Elder Hannah would not find it easy to appoint Django as the demon lord. The commander-in-chief suggested a way, but it wasn't easy either. What method did the soldier tell you? You said it would be possible if another Mason recommended it together, but the problem is that there is no Mason who can do that together. Why do you think there isn't one? Yes? Do you think the only Mason for teaching is chopping board? That's not it. Ilkwa Jeomsun asked me with cold eyes. Isn't the purpose of coming to see me today to touch my pride and ask you to recommend Django along with Senior Doma? Now is the time to be honest. It is only when trickery and truth are mixed that it is unclear what the ingredients of the scheme are, and only then does the scheme become effective. Did you notice? Why are you doing this? It's to get the demon army into my hands. With that influence, I want to become a successor as soon as possible. Ilkwa Jeomsun quietly stared at me. Why did that strict old man choose me? Even writing about Kangsu abandoning his brother. She must be thinking about these doubts. Now I clearly understand why the sect leader placed this Confucius on the Huanqian pillar. Why? I still don't know what my father wants. She came closer and looked into my eyes. This Confucius strangely moves people's hearts. She revealed exactly what she was feeling, as if only a confident person could reveal such open emotions. I will take it as a compliment. After pondering for a while, she finally made a decision. Okay, I would also recommend Django. Are you sure? I looked surprised, but deep down I had somewhat expected that she would recommend it. Because of the special relationship with Thomas. May I ask why? Let's just say it's to show that Thomas is not the only Mason for teaching. She turned around. I knew it was an unspoken order to congratulate the guest, so I greeted her politely. I will not forget your help. She didn't answer, but I knew exactly why. The reason she is taking on this matter is entirely because of Hyolkian Doma. I am afraid that I am a talented successor and that Thomas recognized it first. If that's the case, it's because I don't want Thomas to have me all to himself. This is because Thomas does not want to give even horse manure that falls on the roadside. Why? Because she absolutely hates Thomas. When she became the leader of the cult, the first person she killed was Hyolkian Doma. The next day, Ilkwa Jeomsun recommended Jang Ho to the Demon Lord. The school was shaken by this shocking news. The head of the Demon Lord has never appeared as a candidate, and 2 Demon Lords have never come together to recommend one person. Especially since those two masons were Hyolkion-doma and Ilhwajimzan, who were not on good terms. Wouldn't it be terrible? Naturally, Django became the center of attention. Even in the Battle of Heavenly Demon, the leader of the cult, GM Wu Jin, and the commander-in-chief, Sima Mayong, were talking about this matter. I had no idea that this Confucius would attract Jeongjin. He must have taken advantage of the discord between the two. Everyone knows their feud, but no one will get through this easily. Because both Hyolkion-doma and Ilhwajimzan were not easy people. If you try to take advantage of a discord that everyone knows, it will only backfire. What about a man named Jang Ho? Can I entrust you with Demon Lord? The ability itself is outstanding. However, because it is close to being purely unmanned, its political position is weak. It was a very smart choice to choose Jang Daeju. I guess Django wasn't discovered in the first place. What do you mean? It must have been an emotional choice. He's a more emotional child than I thought. Sima Mayong felt that GM Wujing's words were unfamiliar. This is because he has never expressed his evaluation of his child to himself until now. It's an advantage and a disadvantage. GM Wujin spoke firmly in response to Sima Mayong's words. It's a disadvantage. Sima Ming remained silent with a faint smile. Recently, everyone, including myself, felt that the religious leader was opening his heart to sword dance. However, I did not think that the sect leader would choose GM Ujuk as his successor. This is because GM Wujin used to make decisions that were completely different from what was revealed. We don't know yet. How will we end the Demon Lord problem? If the two of you recommended it, I should accept it. Those people have face. GM Wujin gave an order as if he had been waiting. Let Jang Ho sit as the Demon Lord. I don't know how to repay this favor. Django was the first to come to me after hearing the news that he had become a Demon Lord. He felt both joy and worry at the fact that he had become a Demon Lord. Judging by Jang Daeju's personality, he probably won't be able to repay the favor. Yes? What do you mean by that? There are two reasons why I appointed Great Lord Zhong as Demon Lord. First, because I thought he was the most suitable person for the position. I thought that Jang Daeju was the right person, not for Daeju Jang or for me, but for the Demon Lord and our school. I don't know what to do because I'm being treated too much. The second reason is because I want Demon Lord to be my strength. But don't the first and second reasons conflict? It won't be easy for the upright Grand Lord Jang to maintain a personal relationship. Oh, and I'll tell you in advance, I have no intention of forcing a friendship on you, so don't worry. Then Django said something unexpected. Do you remember when you first met me? I wrote this letter because of the death of my friend. It was for revenge. I risked my life there too. As you can see, I am an emotional person who considers relationships with people to be the most important thing in life. If you see me as someone who throws away personal relationships for the sake of the organization, you are looking at me wrong. If Confucius hadn't come at that time, I probably would have died at that time. That was actually the case. If I hadn't gone, he would have died in that incident. I want to be loyal to Confucius. No, I am already loyal. Of course, I will be loyal to my religious leader and the religious leader, and I will work hard for the demon army, but the person I am most loyal to is Confucius. He was speaking the truth. I could tell. That I got a much better person as a subordinate than I expected. I also want to become a person like Confucius. What kind of person am I? He is the kind of person who feels like we can accomplish any difficult task if we are together. If you flatter me this much, I don't have to worry about being disadvantaged because I can't do politics. Ha ha, I'm not that clean. Please take care of me in the future. Please take care of me. I held his large hand tightly. I liked the unexpectedness of this big, rough man.